I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It, Episode 1. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast, and you'll never miss an episode on how to naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. Hope everyone, got to speak here first. Hope everybody's having a good day there. These new lips, I just tried them out today. I'm not sure how they're going to work. So anyway, glad you're here. And we're going to talk today about surprising causes of infertility. And this is an issue that years ago I didn't have a big problem with with my patients. Every now and then somebody would come in with an issue and it was not that big a deal. But I'm seeing this more and more. And I'm seeing more of it with men especially than women. Men are coming in, Doc, I don't have much of a romantic drive. I don't have, my romantic function is not working what it used to be. We can't get pregnant. So there's something going on. And I'm going to tell you what it is and why it's a lot more than just, hey, I can't make babies or I can't have my romantic life what it used to be. It's actually a very serious warning sign. And one of the warning signs we talk about, if a man has problems, or women have problems in the romantic department, is that you want to check for heart disease. Because if you clog up the arteries, it prevents blood flow from getting to the body. And there's really little tiny blood vessels in the romantic organs. Again, it's a family show. Try to keep it clean. And those romantic organs need good blood supply. And because the blood vessels are so small, even a little bit of blocking of the blood vessel can cause some real serious problems. So if we see problems in the romantic division, there's probably problems in the heart and lung division as well, because the plaquing of the artery isn't just site-specific, it goes everywhere. So if you have hardening of the arteries leading to heart disease, it can be a very serious issue, and that could be a warning sign. Now, that being said, it could also be that there's a hormone problem. And men are doing things every single day to destroy their male hormones. And we need to talk about this because it's something nobody's talking about, and you need to know it. Because amazing, just this week, 3 patients came in, 1 in their 20s and 2 in their 30s, men. And as we started talking, they said, well, Doc, I am having problems in the romantic department. These are young, healthy, vibrant. One was a little overweight. The other 2 were about average weight. And Doc, I'm having problems there. Now, you're 20 some odd years old, shouldn't be a problem, but it is. And when I talk to them about their lifestyle, sure enough, they all fit the same pattern. And that pattern is that they're eating foods or coming in contact with chemicals that alter their hormones, like their testosterone. Now, you may think testosterone is just, for romance. Testosterone is necessary for muscle function, and not just your biceps and triceps. How about your heart? How about your blood vessels? How about your colon? These are all blood vessels too. And these are all muscles, I'm sorry. And you need to get them working. So if you're having issues with your testosterone levels, and how many men come in now to get their testosterone tested and they go, Doc, I got low T. That's what they call it. Low testosterone, low T. I said, okay, why do you have low T? I don't know. What are we doing for it? Well, they're trying to give me external sources of testosterone. Injections, creams, things like that. Well, here's my problem with that. You may need it, and I'm not saying you don't need it because I don't know your case specifically, but whenever you put a foreign hormone into the body, your body has a tendency to not make as much of its own hormone. So if I give myself testosterone, my body has a feedback system, and I think it's my pituitary gland. I'm not sure where the feedback is. I think it's pituitary. It says, yeah, you got enough testosterone. Well, we don't have to make any more. Well, where are you getting it from? From the outside source. Well, the body says you got enough testosterone. That's it. We're not going to make any more. And so then you start having a problem. I'd rather stimulate the organs that make your hormones than to give you an outside source. Again, that being said, sometimes you need an outside source. I'm not against that. But I want you to try everything else first. I always say when it comes to healthcare, conservative is always the best way. Even when it comes to my patients, I say, let's do chiropractic care first. If chiropractic doesn't do it, then we can do medications. And if medications and chiropractic don't do it, then you might be a surgical case. I had a patient come in last week screaming in pain, literally like she was giving birth. I can't move, I can't move. She's in a car accident. And I always say, folks, if you've ever been in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. And she heard me. She's a listener. So she's probably listening now. And she thought, well, it only hurts a little bit. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Well, 6 weeks later, now she can't move. Took an x-ray, and I'll be darned if she didn't have an old fracture in her low back. Now, did it happen before the accident or after the accident? I don't know. But there was a fracture in her low back. And whatever it was, even if it was pre-existing, that accident aggravated it. And it took about 6 weeks before it got really bad, and she couldn't move. So I'm telling you this because I want you to get in as soon as possible if you have a trauma, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. Don't wait. Because when you wait, inevitably the problem becomes worse. Now, if it's just a sore muscle, a couple of days, it goes away, it's no big deal. But she had some real serious problems. And chances are, if you're in a car accident and the car was damaged, you've got some serious problems too. That's why I tell people, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and make an appointment as soon as possible. Stop suffering needlessly. That's my kicker. So we're going to talk about surprising things that kill sperm to start, why men's sperm counts are dropping dramatically, and what you need to do to fix that. Got a little off tangent there. Went off on a tangent. So there are chemicals and foods that you inundate yourself with every single day that are killing your sperm or altering your sperm. Sometimes you have the sperm count is there, but now we have mutated or deformed sperm, and that's all because of these chemicals. It's in your shower. They seep into your skin. They're at the convenience store. They're in your car. These everyday chemicals are going to zap your sperm counts. And what they're also doing is scrambling your DNA, and that's a problem for men all over the world, because when the DNA gets scrambled, you may not function like you're supposed to and make babies like you're supposed to. Some of these issues cause sperm motility damage. Other ones, they make your swimmers not swim. They change the shape of them. They can cause 2 heads, 2 tails on the sperm. Sperm looks like a little tadpole. Makes them weak. So it's big issues. Now, gentlemen, I tell people this too. If you're going to go get your prostate checked and you're a bicycle rider, you just went bicycle riding, your prostate levels might be high. And if they are, make sure you tell your doctor, hey, doc, I ride bikes a lot. Because if you ride a bicycle, that little bicycle seat can irritate your prostate gland. It's kind of right up underneath where you sit. Keep it clean here. And bicycle riding can raise your prostate levels, the chemicals we test for prostate. If it is, you want to not bike for a few weeks and then get your prostate tested again. Because if you go in, the doctor sees it and says, oh my gosh, Bob, your PSA levels are off the chart. Well, what do we do about that? Well, we got to do, I don't know, maybe give drugs, maybe give surgery. Well, it may not be real. Okay, it may be something that was stimulated because of the bicycling. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there just to let you know that could be an issue. Fertility clinics popping up everywhere. On radios, I hear them advertising all the time. Problem making babies, come see us. Well, the reason is that we're doing things every single day that mess with it. Now, first thing I want to talk about. This one made me happy because if you listen to my show regularly, I don't eat meat. So bacon. Bacon can cause problems. It can really affect your baby-making mojo when all you have to do is have 1 serving of bacon or any processed meat a day. How many of you have a serving of processed meat or bacon every day? Raise your hands. When I say processed meat, cold cuts, ham, salami, sausage. Yeah, a lot of you have that every single day. According to a study at the American Society of Reproductive Medicine's annual meeting, men who favored sausage and bacon had problems. Harvard School of Public Health researchers interviewed men visiting a fertility clinic and found those who ate just 1 piece of sausage or a slice of bacon a day saw, ready for this, a 30% decrease in normal sperm. And their sperm were more likely to be misshapen and small and non-functional. 30%. Now, one thing I've learned in my life, whenever I mention a man's masculinity, he pays attention. Grew up in New Jersey. That's how you threaten a guy. You want to act tough. Hey, you know what? And then you'd say derogatory terms about their masculinity. Well, now suddenly your bacon that you're having every day is affecting your masculinity. You want to do something about that, eh? You want to not do a piece of bacon every day? Maybe. Doesn't sound tough when you're trying to threaten a guy by saying, hey, I'm going to take away your bacon. Just doesn't work. But I need to take away your bacon. So, gentlemen, it's affecting your manliness. And no man wants that because that's kind of what we're all about, right? We got to be tough and macho, and your bacon's knocking the wind out of your sails. Keep it clean. Cash register receipts. How many times a day do you touch a cash registry street? You get your morning coffee, which you shouldn't be doing, by the way. Fill up with gas, you stock up on groceries, you go out to dinner, you go to a movie. You're touching these cash register receipts. Problem is 40% of these receipts are coated with something called bisphenol A. Now, I've seen different studies, 40%, 80%. Just assume it has BPA on it until proven otherwise. Now, that's been linked to fertility problems and heart disease. How many of you have heart disease? And you're out there touching cash register receipts. Stop it. A new study published in a journal of fertility and sterility just discovered that men with higher BPA levels in their urine experience lower sperm count and lower sperm quality than men who didn't have high BPAs in their urine. So here we see a correlation. We know there's an issue. We can do the testing. It's a problem. So what do you do about it? Now, there's no direct evidence saying that touching cash register receipts is going to lower your sperm, but why take the chances? Electronic receipts are becoming more commonplace. I see them now at the big box stores. If I go in to buy something for my house, they say, you want an electronic receipt? Yes. I like that because then I just hit send it. They email it to me and I have a little file in my email folder and it says home. And I put all my receipts in there. If you don't need a receipt, don't get one. That's what I'm getting at. If you don't want to touch it, say thank you and have the other person throw it away. If you work at a cash register or something like that, you might want to consider wearing gloves. It's not a bad idea. If you do have them, don't just throw them in your pocket because it's going to get in your clothes. It's going to get on your money. I put them in an envelope. I have a little box in my office where I put all my business receipts, and I just put it right in this metal box. Then I wash my hands. Also wash your hands after you handle money. Because guess what? The guy before you had cash register receipts next to his little billfold, and all those BPAs got all over it. Now that's bad. But what's worse? What's worse is canned food. Researchers believe the biggest source of BPA contamination comes from canned foods. Now, canned food is convenient. Canned food is inexpensive. I agree with you 100% on that. But almost all metal cans are coated with BPA resin or bisphenol A resin, and it gets into the foods. Why do we put it in there is the question. Because it makes the can slippery and things slide out of the can easier. So what do we want to do? We want to get things out of the can as quickly as we can. I used to work for a pizza place. When I first graduated college, I always said I was the most educated pizza deliverer in the world. And one of the big national chains. And I delivered, but sometimes they'd have you make pizzas and they show you how to roll the dough and everything. And what we would do is they had big cans of the sauce and you'd open up the can and then they'd give you a big spatula to scrape it out because you had like a half a pizza's worth of sauce stuck to the can. So you didn't want to waste that, so you took a big spatula, giant spatula. It was like almost comical. And scraped out the can, you saved that sauce. And growing up poor, we always scraped the cans the best we can because we didn't have a lot of food. Have a lot of money, I shouldn't say. We had plenty of food. But what we found was if you line the cans with BPA, this was 35 years ago, 30 years ago, I guess. If you line the cans with BPA, it comes out quicker and easier, and it doesn't stick to the can. So that's a problem. Acidic food is worse, such as canned tomato paste or sauces. They are particularly saturated with BPA. So what do? Try to eat fresh, of course, or frozen if you can. Whenever I store anything in my house, unless it's cold, I put it in a glass container. And if I freeze anything, it's in a glass container as well. You can buy glass containers at Goodwill. You can buy them at a thrift store. They're really inexpensive. Glass containers aren't going to leach any chemicals into your food. Plastic can, cans can. If you are doing, again, acid foods, try to do it without coming from a can, preferably in a jar, or a lot of times it just says BPA free. They may use a chemical called BPS. Some chemicals do. Some companies do. The chemical is just as bad as BPA for different reasons, but at least if it says BPA free, you got a fighting chance. So start looking for that, and the more you're going to see that go away. BPA will be a thing of the past probably in the next 5 to 10 years, but who knows what we're going to replace it with. That's what worries me. So we're doing things that can adversely affect our hormones. We've got a lot more to talk about. Shower curtains, produce, car seats, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But the other thing I need you to consider, whenever an organ is malfunctioning, whether it's your sex organs or your heart, your lungs, your liver, your spleen, your kidneys, you always want to check the nerve supply to the organ. And the reason is, as a chiropractor, my team of doctors, we check the nerves to the organ. So if you have low back pain, anybody have low back pain? Raise your hands. Yeah. That nerve controls your back, hips, legs, knees, and ankles, but it also controls your colon, sex organs, and bladder. So now you might have gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, urinary problems, reproductive problems, function problems if you have a pinched nerve and a low back. And it's very common. So many times people have a performance issue, and when we start fixing their low back, they'll come in and say, Doc, unbelievable, it's working again. I said, good. So we work on the nervous system as my team of doctors and I as chiropractors. We check your digestive system to make sure you're digesting your food properly. If you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, your stomach might be pushed up against your diaphragm, and we need to physically pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. It's a chiropractic adjustment designed specifically for the stomach. And I wish more doctors knew how to do it because it's very effective. And then we check your diet, not just what you're eating, but what you're not eating. Many times when it comes to health, it's avoiding things that you need to do. In this case, avoiding things with BPA. And at least get the minimum amount of nutrients. If you're going to produce sperm or liver or enzymes or blood or hair or toenails or eye fluid, you need the raw materials to produce them. And you get that from your food. So that's why I recommend everybody at least take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, the minimum amount of nutrients that you need every day. And people report they feel better, they have more energy, they're eating less, they're losing weight. Many people say, Doc, I can't afford not to take it. It's so inexpensive for what I'm getting, and I'm eating less because I'm not as hungry because I'm getting the nutrients that I need. I'm saving money on food. And I said, good deal, man. I like that. So if you want to order the supplements, if you want more information, if you want to listen to archive radio shows, podcasts, my website is drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, digestive problems, car accident injuries, I think you should come see us because most of you are suffering needlessly. And I want you to stop suffering. And I know you want to stop suffering. I want to get you healthy, not just out of pain, but actually well. So if you go to my website, you can make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. The number is 844-44-DR-JOE if you want to call us, 844-44-DR-JOE. But we want to be your doctors. We want to help you get well. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. Many times, even if we're not in your network, there's out-of-network benefits that are better than your in-network benefits. Insurance companies don't tell you that, do they? So come on in or give us a call. We can verify everything for you. But it's important that you get well and stay well. So if you're ready to get well and stay well, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe or 844-44-DR-JOE. So we're talking today about chemicals and things that you're doing that are creating infertility. And it's a big problem. And it wasn't a big problem 30 years ago. And the reason I know that is I've been in practice for 33 years. And then we're seeing it more and more. And a lot of it, I believe, and a lot of scientists believe, have to do with the chemicals that you're exposing yourself to. Even produce. Pesticides are designed to kill pests. And they either kill them outright or they affect their hormones so they can't reproduce. Unfortunately, chemical pesticides don't know much difference between you and a bug. So if you're eating a lot of foods sprayed with pesticides, you might want to consider not doing that. So a couple of things you can do. Number one, wash your food thoroughly. And the way you wash your food, if no one ever taught you, and a lot of people I'm amazed were never taught, but my mom taught me these things and my dad. I got a big container, big plastic container. I fill it up with water. I put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, maybe a quarter cup to a gallon of water, quarter cup apple cider vinegar. And I swish the vegetables around. Swish, 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 swish. Agitate them. Then lift the vegetables out of the water or fruit and put it in a colander or strainer. Don't just dump the water over into the colander because then all the stuff that's settled to the bottom that you just washed off now ends up on top of the fruits and the vegetables. Oh, so lift it out, dump it out, rinse it out. You can wash it 2 or 3 times if you want to. Try to do organic whenever possible. This way you don't have those pesticides. And if you're going to eat non-organic, here's the rule. If you're going to eat the skin, I want to make sure that it's organic. So if you're eating berries, if you're eating potatoes, and you're going to eat the skin, make sure they're organic. Anything that grows underground, carrots, onions. If you're not going to eat the skin, you're going to peel it. Watermelon, bananas, those are probably a little safer because you're not going to eat the skin. That's where the chemicals are. But here's the thing. Whenever you're going to cut into a fruit or a vegetable, take the skin off, I want you to wash it with soap and water first. Because people touch it in the grocery stores. It may be sprayed with chemicals, preservatives, pesticides. So make sure you wash it with soap and water. It's going to rinse off, don't worry. And then you can cut into it. Just make that part of your routine. It's not hard. It's easy. I mean, if I buy something like a watermelon, even if it's organic, I'm going to wash it with soap and water first, and then I'm going to cut into it. Avocados, soap and water, cut into it. Just make it part of your day. It's no big deal. Heated car seats. I did a show on this a while ago. I said, how many gentlemen here have heated car seats? And the guys did not like me when I told them what it does is it can lower your sperm count. It's a great luxury. It's toasty, but it can damage your sperm quality. So heated car seats, heating pads, even prolonged time in a hot tub can heat up the male genitalia. The testicles are on the outside of the body, and there's a reason for that. They're a lower temperature than your body. And so they have to be maintained at a lower temperature. Why? I have no idea. When I die and go to heaven, I've got a list of questions for God, and that's one of them, because I can't figure this one out for the life of me. It's not a good place to put them because they're not safe. Inside the body, like women's ovaries, much safer place. But they need to be kept cooler than the body. And if you put them in a hot seat or in a hot tub, you can raise the temperature, which can cause some damage to the sperm. So to protect yourself, if you want to heat up your car seats, gentlemen, I know you're going to be mad at me for this, turn on the car seats, heat them up, shut them off, and then turn the heat on in your car. That's a much better choice. I want to talk about fish for a second. I'm going to wrap up this first segment in just a second here. But fish, there's a chemical called PCBs. It's called polychlorinated biphenyls, and it's a group of toxic chemicals that were extensively used in the electrical industry. They were banned, but the ones that are already out there will remain in the environment indefinitely. And they especially accumulate in fish. Also, mercury accumulates in fish, and lead, and other chemicals. So if you're going to eat fish, you want to eat low on the food chain. The smaller the fish, the better. Bigger fish have been around longer and have more time to collect these chemicals and toxic poisons like mercury and PCBs. They get into the body. So smaller fish, better. Wild caught, absolutely. If you're going to eat fish, it's got to be wild caught. If it's farm raised, chances are that fish was fed steroids, hormones, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified foods like corn and soy, which it would never eat in the wild anyway. Even a farm-raised salmon are not pink. They're gray. So what do we have to do? We have to dye the fish. Dye them pink. And so if you go into a store and it's really bright pink, the fish, chances are it's farm-raised. Atlantic salmon, like Atlantic Ocean, Atlantic salmon is always farm-raised. Alaskan salmon is never farm-raised. So if you're going to eat salmon, I'd recommend Alaskan. But again, it's a bigger fish. So the smaller the fish, the better, like anchovies, because they're not around much. But I don't eat fish. And the reason I don't eat fish is because of the chemicals and toxicity that goes in there. And you certainly, you're going to be mad at me for this one. I don't know if I should say it. Should I? All right, I'll say it. You want to stay away from shellfish, crabs, mussels, oysters, lobster, shrimp, because these are the scavengers of the ocean, and they collect the rotten, toxic chemicals. When Moses wrote Leviticus, way back when, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000 years, I'm not sure when it was written, Moses said, don't eat shellfish. And there are certain religions, they could kill you for eating shellfish. That's how serious it is. If you eat it, you'll get sick, so we'll kill you instead. I know, I don't necessarily understand it. I just report the news. So you definitely want to stay away from shellfish. They're the worst of the worst of the worst. And so many people get sick on that because they're filters. They filter out junk and toxins and poisons. They live on the bottom where the goop settles. So please avoid these things if you can, folks. You know why I want you to do that? Because it makes my job a lot easier. Because when you come into me and you have heavy metal toxicity, because we do hair analysis on our patients if necessary, and we can do a hair analysis to test you to see if you have heavy metal poisoning, see if your minerals are normal, and then we can customize a supplement plan for you. And many times people come in with heavy metals. Had one girl come in the other day, young girl, great shape, and she said, I did a hair analysis, she had aluminum in her hair. I said, Doc, I'm a vegetarian, I'm vegan, I work out, I eat mostly plants, raw food. I said, well, where else could it come from? And I said, how about your deodorant? She goes, I don't think so. And sure enough, she brought it in. It wasn't deodorant. It was antiperspirant. Antiperspirant, by definition, has aluminum. Same thing with those crystal stones that people say, oh, these crystal stones are great. They have alum, which is a form of aluminum, and I wouldn't recommend using them either. So that's the problem. If you need a good deodorant on my website, I have a recipe for it. It's drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Look under blogs. You'll see Dr. Joe's articles there, and you could get the recipe. I make my own deodorant. It's real simple. Shea butter, coconut oil, tea tree oil, and baking soda. But website's there if you want to order Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Other supplements, we have a ton of other supplements. Adrenal, digestive enzymes, vitamin D, all very, very high quality supplements, and I trust them because I make them. And that's all on the website or on Amazon. If you want to order on Amazon, you can. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love the opportunity to have you come see us if you live in the area, of course. A lot of people travel from all over the world to come see us, so we're in the Atlanta area. Go to my website to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. You can call the office. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances. Sometimes no insurance is better. It's cheaper to pay out-of-network benefits than in-network benefits. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app.